at the Artist Coaching Podcast
Hey.
after our 3 week break. And
Yeah.
first of all, I was happy to see so many people actually missing us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the funny thing is I have the same thing with other podcasts that I regularly listen to, and then when they go on a holiday, I'm like, damn, like I literally
At
it's a
at
part of my
least
week.
at least we announced it, and
True.
then you kind of know. So if you're a listener, you know, okay, there's gonna be no podcast. I have some podcasts that I follow, and then out of nowhere they stay away for a month,
Oh,
and then they say like, yeah, it was busy or something, and I'm like, that's not so nice.
they just
But
ghost you.
I hear more and more people are tuning into our podcast. So all those people that tell me,
Yep.
thank you so much, and we love doing it. Yeah, let's hope we can do it more and more.
Yeah, we have Mikey Foden back in the chat with the first comment. We have Kushagra, we have Gerard Francis, Renzo's here, Ben Singh, Line Harris, Mr. Joyce is here, Bit3. What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
All the legends.
All the legends, all the diehard supporters. Israel Cardis back in the chat. Hey
Exactly.
everyone, hope you had a great time while we were gone. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Maddox that we uploaded in the meantime on the YouTube channel, and on the podcast stream on Spotify we did an extra episode. I can't remember which one, but there was an extra one as well. Melodramatic dropped in. What's up, man? Rave, welcome. Looks like this is gonna be a fun
Fun
episode.
episode, man. 15 people already. That's a lot. Thanks, guys,
Yep,
for joining. We
yep, yep,
missed you
yep.
as well, and we really do recognize a lot of you guys' names, and we always appreciate it when you comment or have questions, and it just gets us
Yep.
going because I never prepare.
Yeah, so
Joey
let's
Joey
start there.
does.
Well, sometimes because Renzo always sends me preparation, so that he's kind of researches all the topics that has been going on lately, and then I can go from there. But let's just ask chat for now. Like, um, what happened in the past 3 weeks? Like, obviously Tomorrowland, and obviously
Tomorrowland.
we're gonna talk about that. But is there anything that
Specific
happened?
question, like right now, off the top of your
Yeah,
head.
something you feel like needs to be talked about. But first, Jay, how has your past 3 weeks been? You weren't on a
It's
holiday, right?
I was not on holiday. I did enjoy the podcast off. No, it's funny. Like I kind of missed it, but also it does free up a lot of time because it's that Wednesday afternoon, and usually
It's
I
just an
do the
hour.
podcast, and then yeah, but it's an hour. So like you have lunch, then the podcast is coming, so you're kind of like working towards that, so not really getting anything done. And then after it's like, oh shit, I have so much to do, but I have only like 2 3 hours left. So it is nice to have a few days off, but I missed it, and now I'm happy it's back. And in the meantime, I did find a new, very productive way of
Okay.
working. As
AI.
well, AI is amazing.
Yeah,
Basically, this is already I AI'd myself. Look,
yeah. It's not me.
no, I have a very good tactic that I use now. When it comes to getting to the studio and working, what I do, and it's kind of because there's a new guy here. So Tom and Jame are not in this building anymore, and there's a
Oh,
new
really? Did
guy
they
here.
leave?
Yeah, yeah. Rainer makes music on Instagram. You can find him. He's a really good, yeah, mostly tech house producer.
Rainer, like R
Y-
A
Why?
I.
Yeah, he used to do
Hmm.
programming for a lot of big festivals like Mysteryland and stuff, and he's now full time producing. He's really good as
Okay.
well. But we were talking about like creativity and working, and then we had this thing about how Skrillex and those guys like Fred again, they just what they do is they put timers of 30 minutes, put an idea in, and then go to the next idea. 30 minutes, put an idea in, go to the next idea, and then in the afternoon, like that you can do that in the morning, and then you can, hey, which one do I still feel? I'm gonna continue that one. So I kind of modified it to where I make it work because I always have a lot of stuff I want to do, get done, have to get done, like administration stuff, and it kind of lacked. I kind of lacked a good amount of ideas. So for new songs, let's say. I have a new tactic since the holiday, so it's good that we had a little break. I g- as soon as I get to the studio, of course I'm gonna get a cup of coffee, and I'm still very thankful for coffee. Just that's a whole different thing. But I get to the studio and I have to, before I do anything else, 30 minutes, I have to make an idea. It doesn't matter if it's just a melody, if it's one chord, if it's a sound I found, just a little idea.
Hmm.
And I found that I've been making so many ideas, like every day, at least one. And a lot of them are actually good. And some of them are obviously shit, or like you find a cool synth that you can use. But this is like for all the producers, because sometimes you get overwhelmed with all the stuff you need to finish, and especially when you have kids or you have a job. But give yourself this: as soon as you get to your studio, maybe that's in your house, first half hour, you can always clean out a half hour of your day. Otherwise, I don't think you're really dedicated to this craft. Um, do that. Make one idea without any boundaries. Doesn't matter, and you will find that like there's no pressure and you can just create. Just a time pressure, but that puts you in a. It doesn't matter what comes out, and that
Dude,
gives you such freedom. And it's you can see I'm like reborn.
I can see you're reborn, but I can also notice that you are not paying attention. We
What?
have been doing a 1 month challenge where you had to
Hmm.
make 30 minutes of music every day
Yep.
and
Yep.
throw out IDs. Like,
Yep.
people have come to me saying, dude, this is the life hack of the
Yeah, it
year.
is. It is. It is. It is. But it's one of those things where you have to fit into your schedule, and you always think like, oh, but my schedule is this and this. And now I figured, like, because I'm
Yeah.
not here every day. Like, I don't work like 5 days a week. I work 4 days a week, and sometimes I go in the evenings. But when I go, I have to. This is the main difference, I guess. Not a half an hour a day somewhere. No, the first half hour right away
Yeah, let's
before
get
I
it out.
think of all the shit that still needs to be done. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's really boring administrative stuff, or my emails piling up. One idea, half an hour. That's
Yeah, it's
all.
a good tip.
Normally, I have coffee here. I talk. No, now it's half an hour of and that's it's kind of the I took that concept, which isn't a new concept, but I put it into my schedule, and I
Yeah,
think find something like that. It
good one.
can open
By the
doors.
way, Mr. Melodramatic dropped another $50 as a
Wow,
donation in the chat. Thanks, man. Thanks
it's appreciated, man.
for the continuous support. Thanks for being here every week. And I happen to know that Melodramatic does kind of the same thing as you're mentioning, Jay. He does, I believe, even less, like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, because that fits in his schedule.
Yeah,
And he has
exactly.
been dropping demo after demo after demo, and they all hit. So it's fun to see that putting on pressure and putting
Mm.
some sort of deadline also helps in creativity, and it's
Yep.
fun to see that it helps so many people. Renzo also mentions that we need to redo
It's
the challenge again, so yeah,
It's
that's
a
a
good
good idea.
one. Yeah, because it's like the expectation thing. There's pressure without expectation. So
Hmm.
there's pressure to do something, but no expectation of the result, and that makes that you do not care at all what you end up with at the half an hour, and that's how you really create. It's like
Yeah,
the balance of you still have to do it, but whatever you do, it's fine, and
yeah,
that's a huge weight off your shoulders as well. There's nothing needs to come out.
yeah, true. Because when you create, you ultimately want to create as a kid, as in no boundaries, just pure creativity. And the older you get, the harder that gets.
Yeah,
And then when there's no expectation, you kind of leave out the boundaries. It's more like
yeah,
just have
yeah.
fun, right?
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
also it's for me a big problem is probably the lack of ideas or starting of ideas, because
mhm.
usually it takes like 10 ideas to get one good one. So 10 starts
Yeah,
of a song, and then there's one that has potential to maybe be released. So you figure then if you make 20, you have more chance. If you make 30, and it's all little ideas, and sometimes it's a chord progression that catches you and you just have a full song the next day.
yeah,
And sometimes it's a sound that's cool. You can use in another project. There's so many. It opens doors. So
yeah, true.
yeah,
One thing I got confronted with again because I went on a holiday for, I've been in Italy for 2 weeks and I spent 1 week at home. and then coming back from being away and then coming back to work. Well, not even that. Like being away in Italy and then coming back to the Netherlands and trying to find your rhythm again, dude. It, it's it's so hard. Like it's so tempting to say, nah, I'll just skip the workout or whatever. Or like it's and before you go on a holiday, it's such an automatic pilot and it's so easy to do all these things. And then you come back and you're like, I don't know. And then the bar to get over it and to really go to the gym or to do the thing you want to do is has just become, it feels like it has become so much higher.
But are you
um
afraid of like that it will hurt more or just be
no,
more
it's more
difficult
like
again? Or
it's really like the um yeah, how do you say it, like it's the famous thing we all have is that we all want things to do. We all know what to do, but we don't do it because of many reasons. And because I've built systems in my life, it has become much easier for me to just be consistent in all those things because there is a pattern every week, and because my life is boring, which I'm writing a book about and is finished, by the way.
hey,
But because those systems are in place, it's just easy for me to maintain that schedule and to just go to the gym whenever it's scheduled and to do this whenever it's scheduled and all these things. And then when you break that cycle for just 1 or 2 weeks, the whole thing goes to shit.
yeah,
If you're
yeah, yeah,
not getting back into that system like directly.
yeah,
So for me, like I went back in directly, but I did notice the the resistance. I did notice like I don't want to. I don't know,
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
before holiday, that whole resistance wasn't there. It was just like, okay, let's just do the thing I always do. Um, so yeah, it's just insane to me to see that writing about it. I know how it works, and still you experience it yourself.
It's yeah. I always like to think of it as the stuff. There's a lot of feelings you're gonna have. You
Mhm.
cannot control them. I'm convinced you cannot control how you feel about something, but just how you deal with that feeling. So like you want to go to the gym, you wake up, you don't feel like going to the gym. That feeling is there. I think
Yeah,
with everyone. I think with
yeah,
everybody has that some, not always, but sometimes. But you
yeah.
you only have one thing. You're gonna feel that, but you have to react to it without yeah, your feeling, and
You
that's
kind of have
that's
to
that's
ignore
difficult.
it
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
if you listen to it, you probably won't go because you feel like
yeah.
I don't feel like going
Mm-hmm.
for XYZ.
Yeah,
But you just know that you want to achieve that thing,
yeah,
going to the gym or doing that project or finishing this or finishing that, because finishing that project or going to the gym gives you the feeling that you're looking for, and it puts you into the direction that you want to go in. It puts you closer to the goal that you're working towards. So it's just that continuous struggle that human beings have with not being lazy, stop procrastinating, doing the
yeah,
things you
yeah,
want to do. And it's just so fun and weird at the same time for me to realize again that even
yeah,
I know all these things,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
still there,
yeah.
like even, yeah, you still struggle with it.
I think
So
it's also we're habit creatures. So then when you break
that's
that
me,
habit,
man.
it's very, I think everybody
Yeah.
in like most of the foundation are want to have habits, but then when you break that, it's like it's kind of like you feel like it's so hard to set up that habit again,
Hmm.
and because you feel like you've lost some progress, and then you need to go back to a place where it's like in a career, a lot of people struggle when they like get big and then get small again, and they have to take less fee, less bigger shows, there's less crowds,
Less
and
shows
that's
in general.
you people hate that because you feel like you take a step back. um but yeah, I think that also has to do with like some kind of like being grateful.
Hmm.
Same with the workouts. I once had my shoulder how do you
Wrecked.
say, yeah, how do you say, like when it
Injured.
out of the socket, or
Yeah, out of the socket, out
out
of
of the
the
socket, I
pocket.
think.
Yeah.
Dislocated shoulder. You can't do anything with the shoulder for 4 weeks, so I couldn't go to the gym. And after that, then I was going like a lot before that, and then I realized like, oh, I'm so now sometimes I remind myself like I'm so grateful that I get to go, because
Hmm.
there's people recovering from injury that cannot work out, have to. it's yeah, kind of the thing, grateful to be
True,
grateful for many things as well.
true. By the way, people in the chat, I haven't seen anything coming by of what happened in the past 3 weeks. So make sure to give some updates, something that's mentionable to you, something that kept you awake at night. Um, and we'll check if it's not in the program already. Jay, let's talk about Tomorrowland because that has been the biggest event
Yeah.
probably for the year, and we
Yep.
were gone. so, so
We weren't
let's
there.
yeah, let's cover that. I know obviously Ralph was there because they played there I
Yeah,
think
shame.
twice.
Ralph is on holiday now. So
Yeah.
he's not here. People were asking where was Ralph. He's on holiday. So yeah, that connection is. He was trying, but the connection isn't great. So
Oh
yeah, he
really?
will be there probably next week or the next week.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
yeah, but Tomorrowland, of course, the big story was that the stage burned down.
yeah, that
That
was
was
sick.
world news.
I had quite a few clients in my inbox, and I did check my inbox online because I was like, okay, this needs my attention because
Yeah,
some people had to play there, and they were like, what the actual fuck,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it messes with their brain if you have preparation for, as Ralph also said, like months,
yeah,
preparation for
yeah.
months, and then suddenly everything stops, and then you only get to know if it continues like hours before your show. It's super stressful. So
Very much.
yeah, so I had like a small moment where I had to be there during the holiday, but yeah, it's insane, man. It's
Yeah.
was insane to follow from a distance.
Yeah, it must really suck if you were playing the main stage for the first time. And of course, this sucks for the organization the most,
Yeah.
and probably the crowd that was so excited. But the organization is like they put so much work into this, and then it
Mm-hmm.
burns down. But if you're an artist that's playing there, and like you said, you're probably preparing for multiple months. There is definitely part of you that's also thinking, like, first of all, probably everybody thinks, thank God no one got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What a shame for the organization. But if you're playing and for the first time, you're also really thinking like, oh man, this messes my whole plan up and my
Kind of
dreams
like a
and like,
breakthrough moment for some artists.
yeah, yeah. And that must be just difficult because that's a lot of, yeah, things to think about, but I
Yeah.
think mostly everybody should really quickly realize, thank God no one got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
because with all the fireworks it could have really been like worse,
And it's pretty insane that it happened before the festival and not like
and that I
through.
mean
Imagine
that's like
happening that.
when that ceiling collapsed. That was also a few years back at Tomorrowland.
Oh,
The
really?
ceiling with the whole production collapsed in the week in between the weekends. So like, yeah, thank
That's
God
sick.
no one got hurt.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think talking about resilience, Tomorrowland, man, the organization, like, wow, like that what they immediately switched. You have to really even like that's like it looks like a basic production, but that's a big ass LED screen. That's a big ass sound system that
Mhm.
all has to be found within 2 days,
Yeah.
and they got it done. And I
Has to be
think that's
implemented.
yeah, yeah, and I mean that has to that just it's yeah, much respect
Yeah.
for the organization. And to you can't really mourn too long, like, oh no, our stage, because the next hour they were probably already planning for what are we going to do.
Yeah, but also what
um,
about all those people boarding planes to come here, right? Like the
yeah,
people were already on their way, literally, to come to the festival of their life for some
yeah,
people.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um, and it's just insane to think about all the stress that comes in and all the decisions that you have to make. So it's great to see how they worked on it. I
yeah,
must say that I kind of instantly also thought like, okay, this also brings some sort of opportunity because you could re-market it as it's all about the music and about being here with
yeah.
each other, which already is something that Tomorrowland also
Mhm.
markets itself around. So they really did a great job there, and
Definitely.
yeah, got the whole thing back up again. Um,
And
one of
part of the crowd, I mean, this, don't take this out of context in a clip or whatever, but it also must suck if you're like the second weekend attending it and you're like, oh, first time Tomorrowland, and you're so excited to be impressed by a big main stage, and I think you're still impressed by all the crowd there in that location, but you're missing out a bit. So I think,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah,
at the same time, you can also say that you were there at the one where the main stage got in fire.
yeah, but I think the first weekend you're like, oh my god, yes, it's still happening. Wow. And the second
Yeah.
weekend you're kind of like, yeah, well, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, just part of it must suck as well. But
And you know what I also heard from a lot of those main stage DJs, which who mentioned Ben Singh in the chat mentioned it as well. I heard this as well, quite a lot actually. That
mm.
a lot of the main stage DJs really loved the stage because it was
Oh.
so close to the audience.
Ah,
Because
yeah.
it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of it was not that high. It was super close to the audience, where normally you're slightly higher, you're more to the back. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of distance, and
Yeah.
now you're really old school, like in front of the stage, like in front of the crowd, and that was something a lot of artists loved as well.
I can imagine, yeah. Also, David Guetta, if you're listening, of course, you're a weekly listener. Don't say I want to see this place on fire after 2 days ago the main stage burnt
Dude,
down, man. Come on.
I just love that clip because he probably didn't mean
He
it at
know, he
all,
didn't
but it's
realize.
just
He's
it
just
was
like so
just like
excited. It's amazing.
yeah,
He's so excited to just playing, and that's what he says a lot of his shows. And then
yeah.
like after, he probably laughed so hard,
I
and
want to see
the
this
whole
whole
production
place
did.
on fire.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Dude, yeah, I laughed when I saw it, but yeah,
Amazing.
and
I
indeed,
want to
it's
see
amazing.
this place on fire. With his
So great.
accent, I love it, man.
Yeah,
Wow. Oh.
exactly. Um, One of the questions I also got, which I wanted to run by you, and I can give an answer as well, is from like how do you get to play at Tomorrowland? Because a lot of artists always wonder like how do you get on a stage like that, or how do you get on a flyer like that? Because there's 1,000 parties out there, but how do you get booked on a party like that?
Well, according to Deadmau5, don't take less than a considerable amount of fee. Stick to your artistic. No. Um, that's last year.
He'll come at
We
you.
went viral. If you're listening, we went viral on Instagram, and Deadmau5 was commenting that we were wrong about
You were wrong.
whatever. I was wrong. I was a tool. Blah blah blah. I was pretty honored that Deadmau5
Yeah.
said that, man. No. How to get to Tomorrowland is either be so popular that the scene can't really go around you, so everybody's kind of like agreeing, yeah, that artist should be there.
Hmm.
Yeah, this in this scenario, you've already like kind of made it, or has made some hits and some connections, and you probably already have an agent. Um, that's one of the ways. I think. Whoa, I don't really know what's the other way now that I'm thinking of it. You already need to
Being
be a bit established
Yeah, but
and
at the
have.
same time, the other option would be that you're part of a certain label, agency, management who has connections with people of Tomorrowland or whatever. Because sometimes it's also like we'll grant you the favor because you might not be the biggest artist yet, but we do see some potential.
Yeah, but then you're in a way already a bit established. That so
Yeah, I
you
kind
already
of
had
feel
some
like I was.
releases, some
Yeah,
connections.
I kind of feel like back in the day, I was one of those people, as in, I was doing okay, like I had some
Mm.
momentum going on and I was already touring. I had a good agent, but I kind of feel like that agent was the push, as in
Yeah. For
the
yeah,
fact that
yeah,
I was signed with Anna and was working with Hardwell and stuff, that was kind of the push.
yeah, yeah,
So I think there's multiple ways to get to Tomorrowland.
yeah.
But if you want to play in the main stage, I would say popularity and being the hype of the moment is kind of the key.
Plus those connections, because there's some artists on the main stage that are given a chance because they're not really main stage material just yet, but the agents and Tomorrowland thinks, hey, they have what it takes.
Yeah.
So to be part of that, but I do think like having an agent, this doesn't mean you need an agent right away. It just means you need to be at the level where you would already have an agent, I think.
Hmm.
But in this case, it is very important. I think I also got booked because I had a name, but also the agency had the connections.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
Um, yeah, so I think that goes for a lot. There are some things like I think the JBL stage. We're not sponsored, but JBL, if you're listening, we would love a
Reach
sponsor.
out.
But they did do a lot of programs. I think also with Martin Garrix, where
Yeah.
they have young talent and they fly them out to. I think in this case like Stamped Studios or Tomorrowland, and they do studio sessions and have this stage especially for those upcoming artists, and they're I'm talking like really like small artists. So there's that stuff as well, and I think that's awesome, and that's a chance as well. Look into that if you want to
Yeah.
play
I
Tomorrowland.
also had one client, Esther from New York. He was part of the Wall Academy this year on
Oh, that
Tomorrowland.
yeah, Afrojack's doing a lot as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty insane, man.
yeah,
He showed me what all the opportunities that he got, and he got like on stage with Afrojack to just experience how it is, and he had like one-on-one sessions with Afrojack in his studio.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's pretty insane, you know. Like it's pretty life-changing experience for him. So
It's huge, you know. It's
yeah,
yeah. What Afrojack's doing is really really cool, and he's really pushing them and taking them under his wing. That's
yeah,
you gotta respect that. It's awesome.
exactly. Is there anything else? Like there was this thing with I think it was Dimitri Vegas and N- Nico Moreno. Is that it?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Nico Moreno, right?
Yeah, Nico Moreno played a remix of. Oh, I actually I talked to Marlon from Bass Checkers about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is really funny because Marlon and me saw that on our own, not together, and then we instantly thought of the exact same moment where so what happened in the video, Nico Moreno plays a remix that is the remix of Dimitri Vegas, and Dimitri Vegas is supposed to play right after him. So he's looking at Nico Moreno like, dude, do you realize this is my remix? And
But
after they
that
made
camera action was
it
was
was then the
insane.
camera guy knew. He's like, "Uh-oh."
Like,
Oh,
oh
and he
shit.
zoomed in on Dimitri
Yeah.
Vegas, and he's like looking at his crew and some of those
Yeah.
guys, and they're all like, kind of like, "Yeah, well, this is happening."
Yeah.
And in the end, it wasn't a big deal. But it brought Marlon and me to this moment where we were playing. I think it was Creamfields, Brazil, and
Hmm.
I was playing before Marlon. So Marlon was like the bigger act, and I was playing before him, and I played this mashup that I got online somewhere. Some didn't say anything on it, like it was just haha mashup those songs. And Marlon comes up to me, and he's like the most angry face I've ever seen from him because he's always very funny, happy guy, and he's like, "Dude, that's my mashup. That's our man." And like he was so angry, and I was like. I really got like a fright. I was like, "Holy shit! I have to mix this out." And like, really got scared. Um, Turns out they did make that mashup, but someone from online somewhere remade it and didn't put the bass checker's name anymore. So it's
Ah,
like, and back in the day, I think mashups were kind of like almost like a
more
signature
special.
in the sets and like some
Yeah.
secret weapons. And if you then made the mashup, you but it was funny because Marlon sent me a voice note like, "Hey man, remember Brazil in like 2015 or something?" Like, so we had the thing, and then we were like talking about it because it is kind of an unwritten rule that you don't play the songs of the one that's coming after you on the
Hmm.
entire lineup, actually. And then we were like, "Is that still a thing?" Because I also think the crowd maybe cares less, or maybe they never cared, because in the scene it's kind of a thing. It's really not done to play
Yeah.
someone else's songs right before them, but the crowd usually doesn't even notice or doesn't even
No, but
care.
it's more a gentleman's agreement, I would say.
Yeah,
It's
but that's
more
only for
between
the
artists.
between the artists. Yeah, so
Yeah.
then that's why also in the end I think Dimitri Vegas was like, "Hey man, this is not a big deal." He was just like, "Oh, a bit at the moment a bit shocked."
Yeah.
But um it's funny how, yeah, I've also had this once in Poland when Wizard was just a big hit, was just big, and I walk into the club and the DJ before me, we were already like backstage, and I hear like him play Wizard, and I'm like, I walk up to him, I'm like, "Hey, you know this is my song, right?" And because I was obviously like, "Dude, you shouldn't play this because," And he's like, yeah, yeah, he was like very happy and excited because
Very
he was like, yeah,
proud.
I'm hyping them up for you. And then I was like, okay, whatever. Like
Yeah.
the crowd doesn't really give a shit, anyways. And yeah, but that I think it's still a thing. But I think it also depends on. I mean, this is a remix where you can also maybe have a different mashup of it without the name of Dimitri Vegas on it, so you couldn't have known.
Yeah.
And it's different when it's like someone's actual huge hit. So if I play before Martin Garrix and I play Wizard, or I play Animals, I mean, um, then it's gonna be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because that's the main one of his main hits, and I think that then it becomes a bit different.
True.
But yeah, with a remix like this, the crowd doesn't even care or doesn't even notice, or they just love it so much because it comes on again. You
Yeah,
know?
they want to hear it again. Yeah. Yeah. So overall, I think Tomorrowland was a great event. They managed to pull it off again. Heard a lot of positive comments from almost everybody. So
Yep.
hats off.
I mean, they're such a lovely
Yeah. And
team to work with.
once Ralph is back next week, I think he's back next week. We will talk with him about his experiences because he was there. So
Sounds good, man. Sounds
yeah,
good.
cool.
Community questions.
Uh,
As always, we take on questions which you can send in into our Discord. Every week we answer questions that people send in there. So if you want, if you have a question for us, you can leave it there during the whole week, and we will just go through them in this episode. So the link's in the bio, by the way. So if you want to send it in, click it right there. And by the way, if you, while you're there, why not just join the community as well? Because there's over 600 people there, so why not join? It's a fun place. And by the way, I also noticed that we're almost reaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
wow.
So almost quadruple digits.
We got to get one of these.
Yeah, exactly, like the plaque,
A plaque. This is the old plaque for
the old
100,000.
plaque.
So
Yeah.
there.
Let's go on to the questions. Yeah, the first one I honestly didn't really understand, so I'll just skip that for now. Bit three. My question: I live in a country where a lot of small businesses are getting fucked up. As a music entrepreneur, what kind of tactics will you implement if the government takes at least 50% of what you make on taxes?
Oh, you live in Holland.
You can- I was just thinking, like, oh, you live in Holland.
You
Nice.
live in Holland. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, welcome, man.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, you just have to pay taxes, and if you want to have some smart ways, I would recommend talking to an accountant or something. There are smart ways to pay less probably, but always do it legally.
Yeah.
Never do dumb things because it's just
I
not the
think
smart thing to do.
I like the idea of taxes, and I think in Holland we have some very good like education systems and healthcare systems because of it. And I also always think if you pay a lot of tax, you also make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't get, of course, too crazy. But that's why Joey said there is ways to not per se like, oh, you want to keep as much money or pay as little tax, but you also want to be able to invest. And if
Yeah.
you have a good accountant, you can invest your money into your career before it's even taxed, kind of
Yeah,
thing. But
like
accountants, yeah, have a good accountant that.
talk to someone who knows more about this, but yeah, whatever you do, do it legally.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Question from Josh.
Oh,
Missed these podcasts. Glad to have them back.
oh.
Curious to know what you guys thought of the Dimitri Vegas and Nico Moreno drama. If it was staged. I know Dimitri is a genius when it comes to marketing, so I thought this could be a tactic to get his
Yeah, it
remix
is.
massive publicity.
I mean, he
Uh,
he 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 played it well, I think, with the
yeah.
video after explaining it. But that reaction of him, that face, that he needs to be. He is an actor, to be honest. He has been in some Hollywood movies,
Oh
but
really?
you need to be a really good actor to act that because that wasn't staged, I think.
I don't think either. I think yeah,
I
it
think
just
they should pay
happened.
the cameraman. Like he needs a raise.
that kind of felt staged though. That the fact that the cameraman was having him
Yeah, but he
inside.
knows. He knows. So he's like, he's searching for it. Like he's searching for special moments, and like I can see how your cameraman like, hey, wait, I know the lineup because they have the lineup in their schedule, and they're like, wait a minute.
I sure hope so.
So
Um, I think those were the questions in the Discord already. I guess nobody sent them in because we were on
nothing
a holiday.
from before as well.
No, we all answered them in the last episode. I see someone's typing right now. But if you have a question, please send it in right now because this is the time where we can answer them. Um, Jamie Strife in the chat is asking how was the studio session with Andrew J.
Oh, we made a hit. We made
Who's
a
Andrew?
banger.
Which Andrew?
Andrew A. Andrew A is a producer who also played Tomorrowland. He's from Australia. Super talented. I know he listens to the podcast also. Otherwise, I would not be as nice, no, super talented and very friendly. And was in Holland, so he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, let's hit the studio." And yesterday we made something that is huge. We found a very cool idea because this is how it happened. We had lunch. Then normally, if you have a collab, you're like, "Hey, what are you working on? What are you working on?" You're gonna listen, and then you're 2 hours further, and then you haven't really worked. What I did, I said, "Hey, man, I have this new tactic. Before we begin, we're gonna make an idea, 30 minutes, and then we're gonna listen to what we each other are working on." And guess which idea well, not finished, but like let's say 60% finished, and it's like a really good demo. That idea that we made in that half hour. So yeah,
Okay.
even for collabs, guys, just do that. Make something new before you begin anything. Even all your prepared shit, leave it. Start something new because I do believe in like when there's people in a room together, there's something that because you're together comes out. So I hear different things, different ideas in my head when someone is here, if that makes sense. It's all influenced by who you're in the studio with.
That makes
That's why
sense.
if someone only adds one line or one hi-hat, but he's been there the entire time, he still deserves the full writing credits. If you don't think so, get that person out of the studio before you work on something. Just want
Yeah.
to say, it's not
Better
just
safe
the
than sorry.
hi-hat someone added. It's also the being there, being present.
The
Something about
energy.
their energy changed
Yeah.
something in the way you think about something.
True.
So very important.
There's a question from the Null. The Null R. Yeah. I hope this question makes it in time. When you, as an artist, write, produce, and release a new song or album, do you register it as a new creative work in the intellectual property register, like BOIP.international in the Benelux, to protect it? Yes, in the Netherlands you have Buma Stemra, where you.
No, that's different. I know
What do
what
you mean?
he's talking about trademarking it. So this is
Intellectual
the
property.
intellectual property, like a trademark. So if you have a brand,
Ah,
like Jay Hardway is trademarked,
mhm.
and it's like that. I with songs, I don't think it's possible.
I
And
don't
a lot
think
of the
it's more like a
titles
brand
are.
name, right?
It's for brand names. Yeah, but that's what he means. Like the BOIP
Mm.
is for trademarks, and that's the intellectual property. So that's what you would. Jay Hardway is a name that is a trademark. But
Yeah, exactly.
a song that I made cannot be a trademark because if my song is named Pictures, it's not going to be big enough of a brand. They will say, "Hey, Pictures, that's just a word everybody uses."
Yeah,
So it can't be a brand. If you think of something really good and you want to make merch of it and you want to make a TV series of it, and it's has the I don't know, onderscheidend vermogen is the Dutch word.
Separential
Yeah,
difference.
vermogen Engels. Let me see. Distinctive character.
Hmm.
So that's basically a bunch of words together that no one else really did before or in a smart way. Um, yeah, then you could do that. But I think for a song, maybe an album, it could work definitely because you want to do
Yeah.
merch. But yeah.
But overall, when it comes down to songs, they do get registered, but just not at the BOWIP, but more at
Yeah,
Boomer and stuff, where you register your songs and you have your intellectual property registered as well.
yeah.
Question from Job: what is your best advice for social media as a music producer?
Delete it.
Stupid advice.
Delete social media. So that's my advice. As a music
Stupid advice.
producer,
You
no, no,
need.
wait. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
As a music producer, your goal is to produce music. You don't need no social media. You should not think about social media. You should not worry about social media. Worry about the music. If you want to be an artist, music production is part of being an artist. So then we get to what's being part of an artist. Is social media part of being an artist? Yes, I think so because it's a way to express yourself.
And
Um,
to reach an audience, right? To build a
and to
fan
reach an
base.
audience. Yes, but I'm of course a bit how do you say, pulling your leg or pulling that guy's leg. Um, I
Pulling your
think
leg.
before anything, you need good music. You need to focus on perfecting that. Focus on music. But that's how I make music. But then you want an audience, and then what I think is really important, and I do listen, Joey, because I think that's what we always say. It has to be authentic, and authentic means that would you be able to identify it? Because people will kind of see through it if it's not. So if you're faking it, people eventually will see through it, or you might make it, but you'll feel miserable. Um, do the stuff that you like, search what others do, and you can spin that a bit. You can do your own version of it. So like, hey, someone used their song when they went skateboarding. Then you're like, I want to do that. I'm going to go skateboarding, but I don't really like skateboarding. So you go and bike and use your song. It's just maybe this is a bad example, but then you make it more authentic to you, and it's kind of taking inspiration and doing that.
Yeah.
But authenticity and liking it, actually having the, I think that's so important because that even in an edit, if you like the stuff you're making, that will be translated to the audience or something.
Yeah. As you said, authenticity is the most important ingredient. You need to be yourself and do things that make you that feel comfortable to you. At the same time, consistency is important. It's not like drop one post a week and then not be there for 4 weeks. You should be active. Also, think about taking people onto your journey. So, show people what you're doing right now, not what you've been doing or where
Yeah.
you've been going, but what you're doing right now, and show them this is where I want to go and this is what I'm doing right now in order to get there. So, take people into your studio, share what type of things interest you, what type of things you like watching in your spare time, for example. And one practical tip that I heard last week, which I think was great in regards to creating content, was treat social media like you're talking on FaceTime, as in you're not talking to an audience, you're talking to a person. So talk to someone directly in a person and not to a whole group of persons, but just like on FaceTime, you're just talking to a friend. Super authentic, just how you are as a person. That's how you create content these days. Yeah,
And if
and
it's
then
not you, to try to find another way to translate what you want to say,
yeah, but you can
because
even do if you don't like being on a camera, do voiceovers so that
yeah,
people
that's
can
what I
still
mean. That's what I mean. So you can make
yeah.
like a nice B-roll footage of you walking in the forest.
Yeah, and then they
Uh,
still hear your
yep,
voice and they still
yep,
get a clue of who you are because
yep.
eventually your fans need to figure out what type of person you are and whether they like you or they don't. Because if they do like you, they might become a fan, and if they don't, they're not, and that's okay because no, not everyone will be a fan. So you need to give them enough information to know what type of person you are, and that's what you do by sharing content about your personality, about who you are.
And stop treating that's I think a trend also right now, or people are picking up on it. Stop treating social, or maybe you're not doing that, I'm not saying that, but stop treating social media as linear or chronologically ordered. And what I mean by that is a song that you made 4 years ago can go viral now. It can suddenly be good. It can suddenly be picked up. a post that you made a year ago can also suddenly pop up in the algorithm, which means it's like you don't have to focus on, oh, that song, I just already released it. It has no use making any content with it. Why not? Just do it, you know? There's
Yeah.
there's always room for that, and no one really looks at it anymore like, oh, when did you release this song? This came out last year. Why do you no? People just
No.
like will discover it because they may not even have heard the song,
Yeah.
and like, oh, this has been out for a year, and like I didn't hear it. This is awesome. And that changed, I think, because it used to be, hey Jay, you already released a song a month ago, to like, oh wow, I'm happy it's out, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like the perception of people changes. And there
True.
was a very smart guy who said that. He made used very difficult words for it, and Ralph shared that video. And
I
I had a
shared
bit
it.
of a laugh because there was
I
like
shared it.
some
It was Russ.
you shared it.
It's actually
Huh?
a good one. I'll share it as
It's a
clip of the
good
week.
it's good what
Yeah.
he's saying, but he's trying to sound too smart. I think he's also like very much has that kind of like success bias. So he's kind of like, I did it this way, so this works. Yeah, it
Okay.
can
Let
work.
me let
Yeah,
me
maybe we should
share.
maybe that's the clip of the week.
Yeah, that's the clip
But
of
there's
it.
a
It's
few
quite
things
long.
there's a few things that I have an issue with, but go ahead.
Okay, let me find. It's quite long, but it's I thought it was very well said, so let's put it on here. Okay, wait, share. Wait, we
Community.
have yeah, no, we have this.
Oh.
Clip of the week.
Oh wait,
Hey!
it didn't come through correctly, right? Like I missed the first part. You
No,
too?
I clip of the week. Is
Oh,
this
okay,
clip of the week?
perfect.
Yeah.
So this is the clip of the week. Just as questions, you can always send us clips as well, which we can talk about. So this is one of the clips we liked and popped up the discussion in our group chat. So I'm just gonna show you this clip and hear what you guys think of it. Where are you? Here we are.
Volume warning, maybe.
Yeah, maybe volume trigger. I'll put it here.
Emotional recency defeats chronological recency. What I mean by that is artists post your fucking song, okay? I put out 315 4 years ago. It's platinum. It has damn near a billion streams. Every time I post it, at least one person says, "What song is this?" Too many artists think everyone has seen this. I've posted it enough. Wrong. The internet is not linear. Fans don't live on your profile, they see you in passing. We see every post we make. Our audience does not. And the audience that we're yet to have does not. Every day, somebody hits me up and says, "Yo, I just discovered your music for the first time." To me, that's crazy, but I love it because that means growth. There are really no such thing as old songs. There are just songs that you haven't heard of yet and songs that you have heard of. If I discover a song right now that came out 10 years ago, but I hear it for the first time right now, the emotional recency of it completely overrides the chronological recency. That shit is fire right now, and it hit me today. I don't care if it came out 10 years ago, it didn't hit me till today. So I love it. And I'm now a fan of you. Now I'm going to check out the rest. So it's like, part of making music, if you want to be heard and if you want to get your stuff out there, part of your job, if that's your goal, is you have to constantly reintroduce yourself. That's it.
He's totally
Boom.
right.
Mic
He's totally
drop.
right. He's totally right. He's totally right. But like the recency thing, like maybe I'm too
Yeah,
non-English
it's tough
native speaker
language.
to understand, dude. It's not that deep, bro. But also it's a bit like the assumption, and that's what Ralph also made. It's like the assumption of like he sees my social channels, so he knows what I'm about, and he
Yeah.
knows what my intentions are when posting, and it's kind of like you don't know shit about me. You know fuck all about me if you watch my social media. And this is something that is a bit of a problem in this day and age because even if I vlog my day, it's maybe a 20-minute clip of my whole day. You have
Yeah.
no clue
24 hours.
what I did. If I go golfing and you see me post a golf video, and then we always joke about it on this podcast. We're like, "Oh, Jay is golfing all the time." But the thing is, people actually think that. Are you still
Yeah.
making music? Are you don't know shit about me because I
Yeah, but
posted 10
people
seconds of
know
me
what you
golfing.
tell them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's people should also always realize like you just see I just seen a video yesterday. You only see the few seconds. There's a video of a woman and she's like, "Yeah, when dad has his own company and you go on holiday, and she had posts a montage, and this montage is like 10, maybe 15 seconds of him walking with the kids and on his phone. And the comments are, and even myself, I was triggered. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't be on your phone. You shouldn't be like, what? And then I realized, like, this is 10 seconds of maybe the entire holiday. That's 5 times maybe he's on his phone. You don't know at all how the rest of that
Yeah.
guy's life looks like. And that's something to, you're gonna have a reaction. You're gonna have that instinctive reaction, but you need to realize that social media isn't real. So even if you think you know me, you really don't. But I am actually a nice guy, guys.
Yeah, but talking about what he mentioned with tracks, I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
what I liked about it is that he mentioned that it's impossible to have reached the whole popularity of the planet Earth, right? So keep sharing music even when it's old, because even
yeah,
current fans might not know your previous work and might
yeah.
be surprised by the track that you released 10 years ago or 12 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's what that's what I said before, and I tried to explain it more simply. And he explained it pretty simply as well. He just had some terms to hook people into his video, I guess. So I'm not assuming anything about him. Sorry, man. I'm so
He's a
sorry.
great artist, by the way,
Yeah, yeah,
Russ.
no, he's great. He's great. But I
Yeah.
think it's, yeah, the
You know,
non-linear thing is could be an eye opener for a lot of people.
I fall in this trap as well because I tend to think sometimes when I meet artists, like I don't have to tell that person what I did. And that's pretty arrogant. But I was like, especially in the beginning of artist coaching, when I was just transforming from being an artist to artist coaching, I was thinking like, I don't have to tell this because people know, right? And that most of the times it was the case because those artists knew who I was. Now 10 years later, there's a whole gap. That I'm
Hmm.
old, they are young. They don't know who I am. They haven't been there during the EDM bubble. Now I get to meet clients, which I talk about, and they're like, I have no clue who you are. Like, explain me what you've done. And then when I tell them, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know. And to me, I need to remind myself constantly of that now, that that I have to keep sharing my past to give people a context window of why I do
Yeah,
what I do and why I know what I know. And it's just what he mentions with tracks, like you never have everyone at once. You need to keep sharing all the things that you've been doing in the past to educate your audience on what you're trying to achieve here and
yeah.
what you've been doing. So I think it was a great clip. uh
It's. I hope it opens eyes for people, because that's of course his goal also with that video. And I think it's like, go to, I always say, go to Avicii's profile on Spotify, and there's many songs where
yeah,
you're
man.
like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
what is this? Sounds horrible. And I hate to say that. I mean, but there's songs that are not that good. But it's because the it no one cares about your bad songs if you have a hit. There's only a few little haters that might go into those tracks, but no one really cares. And I think
yeah,
it used to be more linear like that. It used to be more like, oh, what have you recently done or something? And now it's more like, hey man, what can I be inspired by you now? I
yeah.
don't care what you have done, in a way.
Hmm.
That's what mostly TikTok for me stands for, which I really love that. I think I also try to approach everybody I work with, or when I get to a festival or something, I approach everybody like, hey, they could be interesting. They could be, I don't know who they are, maybe they don't know who I am, but what can we learn from each
Yeah.
other? Yeah, it's awesome.
This afternoon, before the podcast, I was doing like a 30-minute walk, and I was thinking like, let's listen to my own music, like the tracks from 10, 15 years old. Let's just listen. I was just curious to see like how do I listen to those songs now, and some of those tracks, probably my most unknown tracks, I was pretty impressed. I was like, oh, this actually still
Yeah.
stands. I was like, oh, this actually still does the job, while most of them are like 12 to 14 years old. And I was thinking, like, that also got me thinking, like, I should share this. Like, I should share with people those old tracks, how bad they might sound, or how, yeah, what the mindset back then was, the sound was. But it all has to do with sharing your background because that gives people context on what type of person you are and yeah, the goal that you're working towards. Um, by the way, one little thing that I want to share with the in crowd here, with everyone who's still tuned in by now, like 55 minutes into the podcast. I got one of my tracks got played at Tomorrowland main stage this year.
Hey, what?
12 years later.
Dude,
So I'm
that's
just
huge.
I'm just
Which
dropping it
song?
here. I'm just dropping it here.
Which song?
I'm not gonna mention anything because I'm not allowed to say anything.
Which
But
song? You can say which song, no?
no, I can't,
Oh,
and
oh.
I'll tell you later on why. But for those who are interested, do your research. That's all I say. But it's been pretty fun to see that 12
Okay.
years later, EDM is not dead, bro.
This whole oh man, I wish Ralph was here so we could like fight each other.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
whole EDM is that thing. No, bad music sucks. Good music is good. It's not about the style or genre. Yes, there's genres more popular, but a good track, it doesn't matter what genre. People will vibe to it, and it's like, yeah, EDM is that.
You know,
They've been saying that for so
going
long.
going back to the whole Tomorrowland thing, one pattern I noticed after Tomorrowland is that many more people told me progressive is back.
Yeah,
Progressive. Because they've noticed that on multiple stages and multiple artists started
yeah.
playing those old school progressive sounds again, and
Okay, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
crowd actually responded pretty well.
They did. They did.
That
You
was
can't really
their
hate on it. You can't really hate on it. I'm still gonna give it a go. I wonder if there was ever in like let's say 2015 there was maybe one project file that everybody shared. Those guys, everybody knows who I'm talking about, I think, and they all still work from that same project file.
yeah, it sounds the same.
It sounds the same. What I will say with that is like a song can do well three things maybe. One, does sound doesn't really matter, but amazing melodies. And I'm not gonna give examples because it might sound like hate, but we talked about it in a chat like last week, Joey, me, and Ralph. But if the melody is good and the idea is good, it's not like the sounds need to be really fresh and new. I think that's a misconception maybe. So that's why I'm not hating on the whole progressive thing because there's amazing melodies and chords in there. A song can also be new, new sounding and with a good idea. That's amazing. That's like when you get real, true new hits and breakthroughs. Like if Fisher came with "Losing It," that's like a kind of a new thing.
That was a cool
There's
song.
also the same sounding with a semi good idea or not good idea, which is where a lot of producers are always stuck in. And I think it's always hard to not hard to see that, but sometimes if I do like let's check my demos, there's so many good sounding demos, but it's like yes, it sounds good, but it isn't new and it isn't a good idea or like
Yeah,
yeah,
same old, same old.
yeah.
True.
But yeah, so I hope the progressive will also be taken to a bit of a next level
Yeah,
style wise. But I mean, the melodies and songs are good, and that's what makes it stand out.
true. Hey,
Might be chance, yeah.
one other announcement that I have to bring out is that we have another live feedback session going on in the Discord. Because for everyone who didn't notice, we started doing live feedback sessions in the Discord where artists come by and give other artists feedback on their music. We tend to do this every month, I believe. For now, Renzo is organizing all this, and the next one is scheduled for next week, and Josh will be doing the feedback session. So Josh Letitia will be giving feedback on your music. If you want feedback from Josh, make sure to come into the Discord and drop your music there, share your music there. And Josh will go live next week to give you proper feedback on the production. If you're not aware of who Josh Letitia is, check out his socials. He's doing great at the moment, and keep an eye on that guy. He's doing well. I think he's in the chat. I'm not sure if he's
Renzo,
still here. Is he still here? No, Josh.
Josh. Oh, Renzo is it Renzo
Yeah, Renzo.
Nardekia?
Yeah, Renzo's still
Yeah,
here, but
I
I'm not
just
sure if
responded to
Josh.
him.
Ah, perfect. Anyway, make sure to join the Discord for those things, for the live feedback sessions, also the podcast questions and the clip of the weeks. Um, you have anything to share?
Yes, I have a new song that came out exactly in a holiday. It's called Pictures. It's been out for almost 3 weeks. It's doing
Hmm.
really well, streaming numbers.
Nice.
I think we're already up to 100,000 streams,
Oh wow,
which is huge.
self-released.
So yeah, yeah. So independent release. No editorial playlists, which yeah, kind of surprises. Well, it doesn't surprise me at this point anymore, but it's a bit of a shame.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is I'm singing on the record myself, and I think that
Ah, it's that
is
song.
yeah, I think that well, you'll be surprised if you so go check it out if you're Jay Hardway Pictures. I'm very happy with how that turned out and the support.
Cool,
So
cool. And for everyone still listening right now, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or to Spotify or wherever you're listening, because we need those followers to build the account, to create more opportunities to actually build this community. So if you're a weekly listener and we know you're there because we've seen you, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button, because that helps us amazingly to build this whole thing.
also, if you're an
Also,
industry professional and you want to be on the podcast, hey,
hit me
some
up.
because a lot of people that I speak to listen to this. So hey, if you just feel like hey, I have something to add, hey, just DM us and
Sure, hit us
yeah.
up, and we can see what we can do.
And sponsors. If
Also,
you know sponsors, actually, like that would be just cool to have a sponsor. Then we can
yeah, it will be fun.
put more time into it, more production into it.
Yeah. Also, do know that we will be back at ADE this year, and I'm working on the plans. So more information about that probably this month. So if you're going to ADE, keep like a carved space in
Which
on
day? You have a day already, right?
Friday afternoon from 12 to 3. So carve that out of your calendar if you're planning to come to ADE, and I'll let you
That
guys know
is
what's coming up next.
Friday, the 23rd, 24th of October.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm not
Put it in
sure.
there. Just put it in your
Uh,
agenda and just join us for an
yeah,
event.
that's it. Friday the 24th from 12 till 3, and I will let you know more about it
Joey
when.
does also will do an autograph session because he's now supported Tomorrowland
Yep,
again. So
I'm.
he will kind of get back into that jet set
Yeah,
lifestyle again.
my merch is back on track. You can buy merch. Yep.
NFT merch.
No, I got it here. Let's let. I'll just...
Hey, hey!
You can buy these for 2 bitcoins.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, that's cheap.
yeah,
That's cheap.
yeah. So yeah,
In
yeah.
case
Let
you're
me know.
listening and you have Bitcoin, it went down so hard. 2 Bitcoin is actually worth €5 now. So it went really down in this last hour.
Exactly.
Everybody like that has Bitcoin is now like
Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah.
checking it out.
Hey guys, also don't forget to check out artistcoaching.nl, because there's all the information you can find about our coaching programs. And that's it for now. Looking forward to the next episode next week, and I guess Ralph will be back then as well. Thanks everyone for being a part of this live chat. I've seen all the names. I've seen all the high how you call it, the like people commenting and
Mentions,
stuff.
mentions.
Yeah, mention stuff. Thanks Melodramatic for the insane gift. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Yep.
And we will be back next week, everybody. Have a good week. Bye bye.